Slut for fantasy romance. So here we have ourselves a thick-ass stack of fantasy romance books, and I'm going to tell you whether or not they're worth reading with a yes, no, or maybe. And I tried to include some books that maybe you haven't heard of before. City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards. Absolutely the fuck yes. Yes, yes, yeah. The most slowest of slow burns. One of my favorite fucking series. Don't even get me started. When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Maybe. I'm not going to continue the series, but I'm still going to say maybe because I know it is well loved, but not by me. To Bleed a Crystal Bloom by Sarah A. Parker. Maybe. I liked it, but it's not going to be for everyone. Maybe. The Road of Bones by Demi Winters. Vikings? Yes. Yeah. And the second book's even better. I'm sweating just thinking about it. The Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee. Yes. Predictable, but fun and spicy. Yeah, good time. A good time. Peaches and Honey. Maybe. If you liked Addie LaRue in Divine Rivals, I think you'll like this. Maybe. A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden. No. It's just, no. No. Blood and Steel by Helen Shore. Yes. Yeah. If you know me, you fucking know. The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole. Absolutely the fuck yes. Absolutely the fuck yes. Mommy Diana and Daddy Samkiel, I would fucking die for them. Don't even get me started on this shit. The Bridge Kingdom. Maybe. I wanted so much more from this. Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. Yes. Yeah, this is a good time. It's nothing crazy, but it's so easy to read. Good amount of spice. I enjoyed it. I did. Yeah. Last but not least, Heartless Hunter. No. Yeah. Just no notes. Just no. I could do like a million of these, so let me know if you want a part 2.
These are my very favorite books of all time. Book besties, we hit 100K, and that is absolutely mind-blowing to me that 100,000 people willingly listen to me talk about books on the internet. Mind-blowing. I am so grateful, and I'm so happy you're here. As a little celebration, I thought it would be fun to do kind of a roundup video of all my very favorite books of all time. Grab a snack, grab a drink, get cozy. We have quite a few books to talk about here, but these are my very favorite 5-star reads of all time. First up, I actually have a series, and that is the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I just adore this entire series. I couldn't pick a favorite book if I tried. These are basically like YA Criminal Minds, and there's mystery, there's a little bit of romance, there's friendship, there's found family. Like, I truly think there's a little bit of everything in these books for anybody, and I just love these so much. I cannot say enough great things. Then I actually have another series, but specifically the very last book in the series. It's my favorite book of all time. This is the 10th book in the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. This is Some Kind of Perfect. This is the epilogue novel, and it's the only novel in the series that has the perspective of all 6 main characters, and I just adore this book with my whole heart. This is the book I could reread over and over again. I have tabbed the heck out of it. I just can't say enough great things. You need to read the Addicted Calloway Sisters series if you haven't yet. I will never, ever love anything more than I love them, I think. Then I have a super fun standalone romance, and that is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I actually read this towards the end of 2023 and fell in love with it. It stole my heart, one of my very favorite reads of the year and of all time. I just adore Ashley Poston's writing. It almost is like poetic. It is just so beautiful, and the plot and the storyline and the characters in this novel in particular, chef's kiss, amazing. Another romance here, Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. The anxiety representation in this book won me over. I have never seen anxiety represented so accurately and so authentically in a book, and this was just beautiful. I love the romance. I specifically love the male main character, and his struggle with anxiety was so heartwarming to read about as someone who can relate. I just adore this with my whole heart. Abby Jimenez is one of my favorite authors, and this is my favorite book of hers. Then I have a dystopian fantasy, and that is Ignite Me. This is actually book 3 in the Shatter Me series, but By far my favorite book of the series. The rest of the series was kind of like in the 3-star range for me, but this was an easy 5-star. I loved the action, I loved the plot, I loved the romance and the characters and the friendship. Such a good book. Before I forget, I also want to talk about a book I don't own the physical copy of, and that is Mile High, and this is book 1 in the Windy City series. Before you comment below about how much better book 2 and 3 are, I haven't read them yet. They are next on my TBR. I just finished this book like a week ago, and I cannot wait to dive into book 2 and 3. I have these ordered. They're about to be delivered soon, but this book is phenomenal. Professional hockey player romance, and oh my gosh, it was so good. Then, if you've been here, you've heard me talk about this a trillion times. I am so sorry. I'm going to mention it again. The Wish by Nicholas Sparks. This book, I don't think I've ever cried so hard in a book, like sobbing, couldn't catch my breath, tears just streaming down my face in bed when I finished this book. Oh my goodness, it's so good. If you haven't read it yet, please do yourself a favor and read it. Then I have 2 literary/general fiction books to wrap up here. First is To Kill a Mockingbird. This book, I feel, needs no explanation. This is the classic, one of my very favorite books of all time. I read this in middle school as a signed reading, and I've read it like 3 more times after that. Oh my gosh, it's so good. If you haven't read this yet, if you've kind of wrote it off as like classic literature that's just gonna be boring, no, you need to read this. Last but not least, the book that I say I would recommend to a stranger on the street if they asked me for a book rec, Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. I adore this book with my whole heart. I read this book probably 3 years ago, and it was so powerful. It has stuck with me, and I think about it all the time. I think about these characters. I think about this story. Oh my gosh. Like I said, I always say that if someone random were to ask me for a book rec, I would probably say this one. I truly feel like anybody could enjoy this book. It's not super niche or super specific to like genre or taste preference. It's just so rich and so powerful and so good. So this huge stack of books here are my very favorite books of all time. I thought this would be kind of a fun way to celebrate 100K. Thank you again so much. I could cry. I cried this morning when I hit 100K. I could cry again thinking about it. I never thought talking about books on the internet would turn into finding 100,000 book besties and finding this community on the internet. Like, I'm gonna cry. I'm literally so grateful. Thank you for being here. I appreciate every single one of you, and I love you with my whole heart. Here's a really fun idea that will definitely make me cry even more. Comment down below a book that you've gotten recommended from me that you've really enjoyed. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.
Don't hide things from the people you love. Ever.
Rapunzel, honey.
Hide your hair, woman. You gotta hide your hair.
Through the storm, through the night, we were running in the dark. We were following our hearts, and we would fall down.
Imagine being forcibly betrothed to 4 princes, except none of the princes know that you're betrothed to the other ones, and they all think that you're only betrothed to them. And when you're meeting them, they're kind of telling you their expectations for you in marriage, and you're like, hang on, I didn't agree to any of this. I didn't even want to marry you in the first place, until you meet one particular prince, and he's saying all the right things. He's saying he doesn't want to control you. He doesn't want to make you do anything you don't want to do. He wants to rule with you, not rule over you. And that sounds delicious to you, because, you know, you've been locked in a tower your whole life, and most of your interaction with other people has been with these princes. And yeah, so that is just part of what happens in Sleep in Spirit. And there is a sequel called Freeman Fire, as Aurelia, a princess who's been locked in a tower for 21 years, discovers who she is, discovers her powers, discovers how to keep freedom in her own hands and not in the hands of everybody that's trying to take advantage of her and control her. So these are available in the Tik Tok shop, and you can get them in a bunch.
Talk about some of the books that absolutely destroyed me. By that, I mean full-on ugly crying. So if you're looking for some emotional books, these are for you. First, I have Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this book hits so hard if you have had a close run-in with grief. In particular, grief of like a romantic relationship, I feel like will really resonate. I just was completely gutted when I reread this book at the start of my grieving journey, and oh my goodness. Taylor Jenkins Reid, some of her earlier books don't get nearly enough hype, and this is one of them. I love this book. Then an all-time fave that I feel like I haven't talked about in a while, The Wish by Nicholas Sparks. This is my favorite Nicholas Sparks books I have ever read. I was sobbing, in my bed sobbing, when I was reading this book. I knew I was coming, but it just hit so hard. Then I have 2 books from the Magnolia Parks series, and that is Magnolia Parks: A Long Way Home and Magnolia Parks: Into the Dark. The ending of this book absolutely gutted me, and it only got worse in this one. So many tears were shed. Definitely sensitive topics covered, so please check trigger warnings. Then I have The Art of Racing in the Rain, and this book made me sob. I knew it was going to. You put a dog in a book or a movie or a TV show, and I will cry. Like 9.99 times out of 10, there will be tears shed. This book was emotional in the sad way, but it was also like emotional in the feel-good way. I have no words. I was a wreck. Then I have My Dark Vanessa, and I didn't actually cry while reading this book, but I was deeply emotionally impacted by this book. I still will catch myself thinking about Vanessa, and I read this book months ago. She's still on my mind because of how emotionally impacted I was. This book is heavy, very, very emotional. Then I have to say it, The Nightingale. I have been a broken record talking about this book since I finally read it, and that is simply because it is one of my favorite books of all time. I was obsessed. As you can see by the tabs, I could not catch my breath. I was sobbing. Last but not least, I have Some Kind of Perfect. This is the 10th and final book in the Addicted Calloway Sister series. I was a mess, not because necessarily the content of the book was super sad, but saying goodbye to these characters felt like saying goodbye to my family, and I will never, ever be over it. So those are 8 emotional books that absolutely destroyed me. What is the book that emotionally impacted you the most? Comment down below.
If you're looking for a winter thriller to read this year, I got you. Nothing hits like a good winter thriller, I swear, and these are the ones I've read so far in love. To be honest with you though, I wish I've read more, so you gotta tell me what your favorites are too, because I need some more of these on my TBR. I want like creepy cabin, cozy, like all that stuff. Make sure you're following me on Instagram so you can see what I'm reading all the time. We have a lot of winter left, so you have to keep up, but let's get into my picks. The absolute #1 book on this list that if you haven't read yet, you are absolutely missing out. It is so underrated. I don't know why we don't talk about it more, but guys, it is The Winter People. If it's not screaming at you in the name, like, hello. Really though, this book was recommended to me on a whim, and it is seriously one of my favorite thrillers ever. Automatic 5 stars. It is so creepy, like spooky, cabin woodsy in the wintertime, and I like to describe this book as kind of like a historical fiction vibe, but also like a little ghosty in a realistic way, and it's just done so well. Oh my god, I love it. I love The Winter People. Next up, if you're a thriller girl, you had to see this coming, but we have to have rock, paper, scissors on this list. When you close your eyes and picture like creepy winter, it's this book. It's the setting of this book. This book literally has you like checking over the side of your shoulder to see like what's going on. Ooh. This book is gonna creep you out. Crazy twist, and the vibes are right. This is my favorite Alice Feeney book by far, hands down. Love it. This next book I read the most recently, and though it's not inherently winter, I feel like it fits the bill for like creepy cabin, spooky, wintry, woodsy, and I feel like if you read it in the wintertime, it's just gonna hit. It's That's Not My Name. This is one of the most unique thrillers I've read in a long time. It's very different from a lot of other books, and I'm not kidding you, I'm still thinking about it. Very different, very unique, very, very good, and I feel like it belongs on this list. If I'm wrong, I'm sure you'll tell me, but I'm thinking like January read. Another one of my favorites on this list, guys. I'm sorry if you hate this book. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you because I simply do not hate this book. I love this book. If you haven't read Never Lie Yet by Frida McFadden, you gotta read it in the winter, okay? Big, creepy, spooky house, snowed in. Oh my god. Perfect vibes for the winter. You could realistically get through this book in like 2 days. Perfect quick read to kind of jumpstart your 2025. This book has one of my favorite twists of all time, and even though I read a lot of thrillers, I still recommend this book. I love it. So fun, so creepy, so good. And last one up on this list is another one that I love, and it is Night Watching. Another one that I don't feel like gets enough credit. Incredibly spooky, incredibly winter, incredibly creepy. This one's described as a claustrophobic thriller, and boy, it is. It's a perfect read for like a cold, crispy morning. Oh my god. With the lights on though, because you're gonna be scared. Oh, I'm excited even talking about it. I love this book. I wish I could read it again for the first time. Perfect for winter. Look, I'm serious. I need your recs. I need some creepy winter thrillers. The only one I have on my TBR so far for 2025 is The Frozen River. I have very high hopes for this. I think this is going to be one of my first reads in 2025, so give me more like this on this list. Please, please.
Welcome to Book Talk School, aka your Book Talk Dictionary, just based off of the 3 terms that I already talked about, and everyone is in my comments asking me to explain them. So this is what I'm going to explain based off of what I understand. I am unsure if this is true, if it is correct, but this is what I got for you. First up, we have reverse harem. I think I said that right. I don't know. I have been yelled at multiple times in my comments for how I say reverse harem. So I just reverse harem. I believe, I haven't done a deep dive, but I do believe that this term was deemed culturally insensitive or culturally inappropriate. So I'm not sure that it is used very often anymore, but what it means is that there is one female and multiple males. And they do a lot of spicy activity together. Not necessarily, I don't think that the males in reverse harem, I don't know, they might do stuff together. This is one of those things that I have to like figure out the fine lines between, because then we have why choose. Why choose is kind of the same. It's not necessarily just like one female and multiple males. I think it's just multiple partners. It's kind of like the term like why choose. And they're also doing spicy things together. And I think why choose and reverse harem sometimes are used interchangeably. I'm not quite sure. Again, I need to do more of a deep dive on that. And then we have Omegaverse. And this is what I know about Omegaverse. Omegaverse is pretty much a fest. We have an alpha. We have the alphas, omegas, and the betas. The alphas are alpha-ing, they do the alpha things. The omegas are a little smaller and softer. They do omega things. And betas are just normal people. Not very important in these books, I guess. I've never read one of these books, so I don't know. But yeah, the alphas, they do the main things, and the omegas are the ones that carry the babies. I don't know, you might have to do your own deep dive on Omegaverse. I have had multiple breakdowns of this, and I understand it in my head, but trying to explain it to another person is not really my forte. All I know it's pretty much a fest. So there you have it. Those are the 3 terms I've talked about so far, the 3 tropes or terms that I've talked about so far, and I've had multiple people ask me to actually explain them. So this was my explanation, and I don't know if you are more confused now or if this helped at all.
What? Who does she think she is? Be when they discover you've died.
You mean to tell me this all happened because you were messing with the Shadow Man?
He was very charismatic.
That motherfucker's guilty. 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 That motherfucker.
Oh, I really want to get into reading. Do you know any books that I might enjoy? I know books that will alter your brain chemistry and send you down a path you can never come back from.
There's Mummy's Mortgage. Oh, there's the food that we could have had this month. In it goes. Oh! There's our holiday to Bermuda, going right in the case.
Oh, you are beautiful. My wife is beautiful. You are incomparable. You are spectacular. You are breathtaking. I did not know a woman could be so beautiful.
Oh, darling.
It's me, Sophie! I know how to help you now! Find me in the future!
There you are, sweetheart. Sorry I'm late. I was looking everywhere for you.